Hey everyone, Mah-Dry-Bread here. Pokemon X with only one Sandile was a super fun solo run. Let's follow that up with a fun team run. Today's the day that we figure out would I be able to beat Pokemon Gold with a team of only electric-type Pokemon. Now, there may not be a ton of electric-type Pokemon in Gen 2 to pick from, but I'm actually really excited for this, because they're all Pokemon that I think are really cool. If my count is right, we can get like 6 or 7 of them over the course of the run, so we should end up with a full team by the end. But a few of them are only in Kanto, so we won't have a full team going into the Elite Four fight. Still, this should be a fun one. I'm guessing that's why you guys picked this on the Patreon poll. Like always, I'm writing the script as I go through with the challenge, so all of this part is being written before I've started. Everyone comment down below and guess if I can win or not. I'm sure that I can win, but I'm excited to see what parts are difficult. I can see the Steel Gym being pretty hard. Let's explain the rules. In combat, I can only use electric-type Pokemon. I'll need other Pokemon to use HMs, but I won't be allowed to use any of those Pokemon in battle. No glitches or exploits, no items in battle, only Pokeballs, held items, and items outside of combat are allowed. Also, if you enjoy this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more. Let's do this. So, right off the bat, I used the Universal Pokemon Randomizer to replace Totodile with Pikachu so that we can do the whole run with it. I figured Pikachu would be a fun Pokemon to start with, since you don't normally get it until Kanto, and I haven't used a Pikachu in Gold in 6 years if I remember right. So although the early game travel isn't too bad, I know this might get rough. See, this is gonna be a weird run, because a bunch of the electric Pokemon we can catch in Johto are around the same area. We can catch 2 of them the moment that we beat the normal gym, and we can catch another one after we learn Surf. That means we just have Pikachu until after we beat the Flying Gym, Bug Gym, and Rival Fight, and then we have the normal gym. Now, my solo Pikachu run in Gold was a super long time ago, and I really don't remember it all too well, so I don't have many memories of how hard this early game is, but on paper it looks not too horrible. The Flying Gym should be easy, duh, and the Bug Gym shouldn't be too bad either, since his only tough Pokemon is part Flying type. Our rival might require some grinding thanks to him having a grass type, but I'm not super worried about the normal gym. Obviously, Miltank is no pushover, but with Paralysis we can at least get the speed advantage reliably, and maybe even use it to break her rollout. I'm gonna try and blitz through the early game as fast as possible so we can catch some new Pokemon, then we'll go after the Ghost Gym to catch our last one. Let's go! First is the Flying Gym, but obviously it's just a sweep. Yeah, they have Mud Slap, but they never got to use it, so we're fine. Next is the Bug Gym, and Scyther actually did crazy damage to us thanks to his second Fury Cutter critting, but he never got a third one in, so we still won. If we were a few levels lower, then I bet we could have been slower and actually lost that one. Scyther's pretty fast. Now, the rival fight took several tries because we could do almost no damage to Bayleaf at all, so I decided I would have to use Pikachu's Double Team. Now, we still lost plenty because even with Paralysis and 6 double teams, we have to hit Thunder Shock a lot before we get a knockout, and those Razor Leaves do still hit us sometimes. But after 5 tries with this strategy, we got a win. I know some people are going to say that Double Team is cheap, but I feel no shame for this. We learned it by level up, and this lets us get to the next part of the run at a lower level. Now let's go take out the normal gym so we can finally catch some new Pokemon. Well, here I was thinking the normal gym could be hard thanks to Miltank, but we learned Thunderbolt on the way, so it was a 2-shot. We didn't even need to paralyze her. That was easy. Alright, time for some new Pokemon. First is Chinchou. I adore this one. Just a goofy-looking lanternfish that's water and electric. Pretty cool type combo. I taught it Surf right away, so we're gonna have a solid water move. Although if I remember right, it doesn't learn any good electric moves in this game. I think it just learns Spark. Still, this is a pretty vital type coverage for us, since it's probably what we're going to use to beat the Steel Gym in a little while. It won't hit as hard as some of the other members of the team, but it's got a ton of health, and the type coverage is great. After that, I catch a Magnemite. This is another one of my favorite early gen Pokemon. Now, it can be a bit frail thanks to its low base health, but it's part Steel type, so it's got a lot of resistances. Its special attack is going to end up being fantastic as well, so I'm expecting this thing to hit pretty hard by the end of the game. The only annoying part is that it doesn't learn any good electric moves in this game, just Thunder Shock. There's no TM for Thunderbolt in this game, so I guess we could teach it Thunder eventually, but that's really unreliable. This might end up being mostly useful as something to swap into so we can use Thunder Wave and then Thunder Shock until we faint. It's hard to say. Last, I catch Flaaffy, and I actually could have caught this right after the first gym, but I literally just forgot. Well, I could have caught Mareep, but evolves into Flaaffy. I don't really know how I forgot. Mareep might be my favorite Gen 2 Pokemon. Actually, Wooper might be. It's hard to say. They're kind of equal for me. Anyway, at least we can catch it at a higher level now. I bet you the comments are already freaking out on me for forgetting that, sorry. Anyway, the best electric move it learns by level up is only Thunder Punch, not Thunderbolt, but it's still gonna hit hard with it by the time we fully evolve it at level 30. This is gonna be a pretty solid Pokemon once we level it up more, but we can't actually get the experience share until after the Ghost Gym, so let's go get that done and over with. Well, the Ghost Gym was a weird one. The first few Pokemon were one-shots with Thunderbolt, but then the Gengar put Pikachu to sleep, so I switched to our under-leveled Magnemite, and he missed Hypnosis 3 times in a row as we finished him off. I know Hypnosis is crazy and accurate on a good day, and that Gen 2 has that built-in chance for the AI to miss their Affliction moves, but that was still pretty crazy. I just assumed that we were going to faint and need Chinchou to finish it off. Thanks to that, the whole fight was easy. Finally, we got our last Pokemon before the next region, and that's Voltorb. You can catch it in the Rocket Hideout. Now this is pretty terrible as an electric type, thanks to it not learning even a single electric move outside of very limited TMs, but is actually really incredibly fast and can learn things like Light Screen, Mirror Coat, and Explosion. Are we gonna use it? I mean, outside of maybe Light Screen, probably not, but who knows? Maybe we'll get use out of it. Explosion is a good move. I figure it's mostly gonna get replaced once we make it to Kanto, though. Now let's go fight our way through a few more gyms. So I went after the Ice Gym first, since despite being the 7th gym, everybody knows it's one of the easiest. I used it as a chance to get some experience on some of the weaker members of the team, although I'm sure Pikachu could have swept most of it if we really wanted to. The Piloswine at the end could have been an issue thanks to being ground type, but our Chinchou evolved into Lantern, so we had a pretty solid water type to take it out. Hey, why don't we try the Steel Gym next? I think it might actually be easy. I've got a plan. So I buy the TM for Fire Punch and get Flaaffy up to level 30 to evolve it. We're actually at level 32 by the time we get here thanks to the Lighthouse, and we had a really easy time. I was thinking Surf would be our way through this fight, but Fire Punch worked much better. I figure Lantern could have had problems due to being slow, so Ampharos was probably the right way to go. After that is the Fighting Gym, but you know this one would be easy. His only dangerous Pokemon is a water type, and even then, it's only hard if he puts you to sleep. No problem at all. Last before the Dragon Gym is our rival, but now that we have a decent fire move, we're actually super effective against a lot of his team. I'm getting the feeling that Amphi here might be our best Pokemon for the rest of the run. Alright, we're on our way to the Dragon Gym, and I'm not sure how this is gonna go. We can't learn Ice Punch, so that's not an option, and Dragon resists both fire and electricity. I don't have any good physical moves on anyone, so I might have to just teach someone Headbutt and hope for the best. I'm sure the Kingdra won't be too bad, but the Dragonairs are going to paralyze us for sure. Ampharos is our best physical attacker, so I'm thinking that I just slap Headbutt on him, and then hope for the best. Well, this isn't how I thought the Dragon Gym would go. After struggling our way through the trainers in the gym, we got to the leader. We just hardly were able to take out the Dragonairs slowly one by one. Ampharos was able to struggle through the first two, and the third one hardly went down due to some great paralysis luck against Magneton. But the Kingdra was way harder than I expected. Even after paralyzing her, we got rocked by Hyper Beams and could hardly do any damage. We came so close to getting a win with Lantern when she used a Hyper Potion to fully heal back up. I'm gonna need to level up for sure, but I'm holding out hope that maybe after a few levels on the whole team, I could grind out a few attempts and win through Mud Slap dropping Kingdra's accuracy. It might take a while, but I think it's worth trying. You know what? That wasn't so bad. I got a few levels on most of the team and caught up the Voltorb to get it to evolve. The fight was still a mess and we could easily have lost, but using Screech then self-destruct with Electrode scored a one-shot on Kingdra. Maybe I was underestimating how good Electrode could be as a spot cleaner for tough battles. Last before the Elite Four is our rival again, but we have a pretty hard counter for most of his team at this point, so even with some of our team being under-leveled, it wasn't an issue. I think that the only damage we took the whole fight was from Future Sight. Now that we're at the Elite Four, let's take a look at our team. Well, to be honest, I think that we don't stand a chance at this level. Our type coverage is limited, and a lot of our Pokemon have fallen behind in levels. Even our highest level Pokemon are gonna struggle here. We can't get any good TM moves unless I want to slap Thunder on everything, and I don't think I really want to rely on something that misses so much. That said, I think that we'd have a reasonably easy time with this one once our levels are decent. This game doesn't have effort values, so I don't really need to worry much about being weak from using rare candies really early. Stat experience works pretty differently. I think what I'll do is I'll try the Elite Four at this level, since I might be able to get past the first member or two. Then I'll use rare candies to slowly bring the minimum level of our team up as we get stuck. Make your final guesses on if we can win this or not. Let's do this. First is Psychic Trainer Will, and man, I was super wrong about this. I thought that I might win this one just because we have a decent type advantage on some of them, but it wasn't even close. For the most part, they just outspeed us and do crazy damage. I'm sure part of it is that our levels are too low, but I really underestimated how hard this one was going to be. We might need to be a higher level than them for this one, but we'll start by just making our minimum level 40 and see what happens. Okay, so we got the team up to level 40 and things went a lot better. Despite having literally half as much special attack as Ampharos, Pikachu is still doing pretty good damage with Thunderbolt, and swapping in and out of Pokemon to use Thunder Wave so that Ampharos can last longer is really paying off. We still do have half our team faint, but we get our first win with a few Pokemon left. I still think that'll be the easiest member though, the rest might be worse. Second is Poison Trainer Koga. Never mind, this one was pretty easy. I kept underestimating just how strong Ampharos is because that Fire Punch is really doing some work. Pikachu still got one-shot by Muck because it's so frail, and the Crobat at the end was reasonably dangerous, but I really don't think that we could have lost this one. Third is Fighting Trainer Bruno, and this one is crazy. Right away, Hitmontop survives a Thunder Punch and digs, so I switched to Pikachu knowing that I'd rather it get taken out than Ampharos. We hardly survived the hit, but feinted to Quick Attack, then finished it off quickly with Thunder Punch. After that is Onix, but Surf easily one-shot it. Next is Hitmonlee, so I kept using Surf, but we took some high jump kicks, and nearly fainted, but the last one missed, so we knocked it out. Hitmonchan is next though, so it made Lantern faint, and we had to send Ampharos in. We were doing decent damage, but so was he. We took him out, but with only half our health left. Machamp was last though, so I sent in Magneton to paralyze him before we got one-shot by Cross Chop. Then I sent Ampharos back in. We were doing solid damage with Thunder Punch, and one of his Cross Chops missed, but then he brought us down to only 2 health, and he used a Max Potion. Knowing that I didn't want to risk Ampharos fainting since Electrode is pretty much useless at direct damage, I switched to him early, he missed a Cross Chop, and we hit Self-Destruct to finish him off. That means we won the fight with 1 Pokemon left that had 2 health. It was a first try, but man was it close. Fourth is Dark Trainer Karen. Well, I had 1 Pokemon faint because I didn't use my Water type against the Fire type right away. I don't know how I didn't instantly think to send in Lantern, but it was fine, the whole fight was pretty easy. Really, Karen just isn't a problem unless you're in a solo run. Then Karen can be awful because of the Umbreon that loves starting with Sand Attack. But now it's time for the real challenge. Finally, Pokemon Champion Lance. Well, I gave it a few tries, and although the Water Onix at the start is obviously always really easy, the Dragonites are awful. As long as we kept them paralyzed, then we could get a lot more hits in, but even on this pretty lucky run, we lost before we took out the third one, and he still has 2 Pokemon left after that. It's impressive that we got this far at this low of a level, but it's time that we raise the minimum level by a bit. I don't think that we need to level a ton before we can win this, but we probably need to at least be at their level before a win is gonna happen. Alright, the team is level 45 now. The strategy is basically the same with us just swapping into Pokemon that use Thunder Wave, but this time Ampharos lasted a little bit longer and that helped us a lot. We still could only make it to the 3rd Dragonite before our best Pokemon had fainted, but as Ampharos fainted to Hyper Beam, I knew I had 2 turns where I could attack in a row, so I had Electrode use Screech and Explosion to one-shot it. We only have Lantern left to take out his last 2 Pokemon. First is Charizard, who hardly hurt us with Slash, as we crit to one-shot him with Surf, so this is starting well. Second is Aerodactyl, and we go first thanks to the Quick Claw and nearly one-shot him, but he hangs on and hits Rock Slide. On the second turn, he hit a Hyper Beam, and I was petrified it was going to make us faint, but we hardly held on with 30 health left and got the knockout. That was just about as close as it could have been, but we won. With that victory, we get into the Hall of Fame and win the run, but you know it's not over yet. Gen 2 has all of Kanto in the post-game, including 8 gym battles and a secret final boss fight with Red. 7 of those 8 gym battles are super easy since they're weaker than the Elite Four, so we're going to skip ahead to the next real challenge, Blue. First though, we can get another Pokemon. I went ahead and caught Electabuzz, an awesome Pokemon. One of my favorite Gen 1 Pokemon, and just a really solid one in general. I could also get a Thunderstone to evolve Eevee into Jolteon, but I already needed a Thunderstone for Pikachu, and I don't want to have to spend an unreal amount of time on that little side quest at Bill's house, so I decided I'd stick with our Electrode instead. This Thunderstone takes ages to get, by the way, because not only do we need to catch Pokemon that he requests until he asks for the right one, but he asks to see a Pichu, so I have to breed my Pikachu with a Ditto to get an egg, then I need to hatch it. This is the most work I have ever had to do to get a single stone, but this run just wouldn't feel complete if I didn't do it at least once. Not only that, but because he gives you these stones in a specific order in this game, and the Thunderstone is always the last one, I had to catch and show him a Lickitung, Oddish, Staryu, and Growlithe first. This took longer than the entire rest of Kanto to do. In fact, this took longer than it did to go from the start of the game all the way to the Ghost Gym. This was like almost a third of the runtime of the entire challenge up until this point. I'm sure I know exactly what I'm gonna get asked because people ask me every single time I need an item that's hard to get. They ask why I don't just hack it in. Well, one, I prefer getting it in-game if I can, but two, I don't know how, so instead of spending the time to try and figure out online how I can hack in a Thunderstone, I just spend the time getting one the way you're supposed to. I'm sure I really don't need this Raichu that I get out of the Thunderstone, but it's cool to have one, so I did it. It's still pretty weak compared to the rest of my team, though. If you appreciate all the extra time I put in just to get a Thunderstone for basically no reason, like the video. It helps tell YouTube that people want to watch it, even if they've already subscribed, because I guess the subscription button alone is not enough to tell YouTube that you want to watch this channel. Man, I miss the old days when YouTube's homepage was not trash. You know, I've been doing full-time YouTube for 15 years now. Oh man, for those of you who are too young to remember, there were much better eras of YouTube than the one you're living through today. There was a time when things made sense. There was a time where if you were subscribed to my channel and you only watched the Pokemon challenges, YouTube would get the hint and just show you the Pokemon challenges on your homepage whenever they come out, without showing you all the other stuff I do, because you weren't interested in that. Nope, not anymore. Now you gotta pick between the subscription feed, where it shows you everything uploaded by every channel you subscribe to, which is probably a lot of videos and you're probably not super interested in most of them, or your homepage, where it won't show you the people you've subscribed to, it'll just show you a bunch of stuff related to whatever the last thing you clicked on. Did you look up how to make that one recipe recently? Well, I hope you enjoy that for the next 48 hours, everything on your homepage is just cooking. Ooh, did you make the mistake of wanting to look up where that one thing in Fallout was? I hope you want to see every Fallout video ever made. Alright, enough complaining, back to the challenge. Actually, one more complaint. I have started making YouTube community posts that just link these challenge videos and let people know midway through the week, hey, in case you missed it, here's the thing. And they're flooded with comments of people saying, oh, I wanted to watch this, but YouTube didn't show it to me. Thanks for posting this. I guess I just have to do that from now on. I guess that's just part of the job description now, is I have to put out extra posts just to let people know that the videos exist because YouTube isn't gonna let you know. Why does it work like this? Alright, time for blue. Right away we use our new Raichu to nearly one-shot Pidgeot, but he just used Mirror Move to hardly hurt us with Thunderbolt, so we easily finished him off. Second is Rhydon, who's just a one-shot with Surf, and after that is Executor, so I had Ampharos use Fire Punch. It's not exactly a one-shot, but he just used Leech Seed, so we finished him off with another Fire Punch. Alakazam is next, and I knew this thing was dangerous, so I sent in Electrode to set up a light screen. It worked, but his Psychic crit to bypass it and one-shot us. That's not good. I wanted to use Explosion. I had to send in Ampharos to spam Headbutt, but at least the light screen kept us pretty healthy. Arcanine was next, so I sent in Lantern to use Surf. His extreme speed did decent damage, but we took him out in 2 hits. Last is his Water Onyx, but of course we could one-shot that with just about anyone on our team, so I had a Raichu finished off with Thunderbolt. That was a pretty good first try. So I get the team up to level 50 and try the red fight. Obviously massively underleveled, but you know that I'm always curious about how it's gonna go. Well, his legendarily weak Pikachu actually went down to our Ampharos, but it took forever. He kept using full restores over and over, and Charm was making our headbutts really weak. Thankfully, nearly our whole team has Thunder Wave, so it's pretty easy to re-paralyze him after those full restores. The Espeon after nearly swept our entire team, though. We hardly got a knockout on it eventually after throwing just about everything we had at it, but the Venusaur afterwards overpowered us pretty easily. The funny thing is, I think that Espeon and Snorlax are really the only threatening Pokemon. I'm gonna get the team's levels up so that we can be more competitive, but I don't actually think that we need to be as high of a level as they are. Maybe level 65 would be enough. Alright, we're back at level 65 and here's the first try. Ampharos actually does an awesome job against Pikachu thanks to it not hitting us with literally anything, but next is Espeon and it still hits so hard. I sent in Electabuzz to use Light Screen and trade shots, but we ended up fainting right after it before we could get the knockout. I sent in Raichu figuring that it would be faster, but he actually wasn't, so we took some damage before finishing him off. Next is Snorlax though, and I already knew what I was gonna do here. I sent in Magneton knowing that he couldn't hurt me much, and I went ahead and paralyzed him and then spammed Flash and Screech to ruin his accuracy and defense. Then I switched to Electrode and I used Explosion to one-shot him. Not bad. Next is Venusaur, so I had Raichu paralyze him right away, then use Mud Slap a bunch. We got taken out by Solar Beam reasonably early on, but Ampharos was able to come in and use Fire Punch. To make it even better, he used Sunny Day before he fainted, so he powered up our Fire Punch, and instead of doing the smart thing and sending in Charizard to capitalize on the Sunny Day, he sent in Blastoise. I decided to keep Ampharos in and just Thunder Punch as he used Rain Dance. Thanks to it paralyzing him, we got the first hit on the second round to take him out without getting hurt. Last is Charizard, so I sent in Magneton to paralyze him since I figured he'd be using Sunny Day, but he one-shot us with Flamethrower. That's fine, it's still raining, so I sent in Lantern to come in and easily tank a Slash and then land a one-shot with Surf. That was a really clean red fight. I really liked that run. Type-exclusive runs are usually a fun time, and I really like Electric type. I got to use a lot of Pokemon that I really like, but don't normally get to use, and that makes for a fun run in my books. And you know it's in the book. I really hope you guys like that run. The next Pokemon challenge should be up next week on Saturday, like usual, with Pokemon Fire Red, with only one Chikorita. As always, I'm looking forward to your suggestions in the comments in the challenge quest section of my Discord channel and on Twitter. Subscribe, ring the bell, stay tuned. Outro time, I got a little bit of fun streaming news for you, but first, real quick, the $50 supporter shoutout tier thingy for the YouTube members and also the Patreon members, and we got a new name here. We got Jacob Busby, Javid Kusaro, Grayson Fitz, Tara Louise, Alessandra Hedgeblog, Joel Mann, Dark Soul, Young Smoky VP, Cal Anderson, Crystal Sunrise, and now we have Bunnyberry, which, by the way, I didn't check to see if Bunnyberry is like a YouTuber or a streamer or someone, but that username is fantastic. If you are not already a YouTuber or a streamer, you probably should be with a username like that, because that's like literally a top tier username, in my opinion. What's it called? A simile and the other thing? Where the first half of the words rhyme, and the second halves too. The second halves are both ending in the Y noise, and then the first part's the B and the boo noises. It's so good. It's like Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola, literally the best branded name ever. It rolls off the tongue in any language on Earth. Bunnyberry does too. That's a really, really good name, and it's evocative. You could so easily do branding around that and make it work in so many different ways. You could do like a VTuber or something with that. You wouldn't have to be a VTuber, obviously, but sorry, I just want to point that out. Bunnyberry, if you're not already a YouTuber or a streamer, you have a gold mine with that username. Anyway, real quick streaming news. I'm finally going to try and remember to put my YouTube streaming channel thing in the description. I do my streams on the YouTube channel you're watching right now. I'll either stream on this YouTube channel or my Twitch channel. I don't like doing both at the same time. I like when the chat's all in one place. I think it's better for the viewer that way. But when I upload my stream VODs, I used to always just put them on the channel you're watching right now. Nowadays, I've been putting them over on that side channel. I got a few things over there, some fun things. I got some Graveyard Keeper over there. I got some RimWorld over there. I got a few different things you can watch. But just earlier in the week, at least earlier in the week that I'm recording this, me and some friends, Zeke plays, Willow plays, also known as Willow's Duality. You might know him from like Fallout 4 challenges and stuff. And Utopia Pills, longtime friend of mine. We all played RV there yet. It is so fun and so chaotic and insane. I uploaded it over on the side channel, the VOD of it. I know that Willow says that he wants to like get a bunch of our perspectives and put together a big edited video on that. So maybe I'll be able to link you guys to that at some point, but I got the whole first play session up. It's like over 3 hours, I think, and it was such a fun time. We're already starting to plan out the next time that we're gonna stream that because we had so much fun with that. Oh man, I'm really looking forward to streaming that again. Other than that, can't wait to do more RimWorld. I really want to start doing open Roller Coaster Tycoon 2 because I loved Roller Coaster Tycoon 2, been playing it like since I was a kid, and the open version of it is just like modern resolutions and stuff. It's got a few little quality of life updates and stuff just to get it running well on modern computers, and I really want to start streaming that. And of course I want to stream more Pokemon stuff. It's mostly just been a thing of I need to wake up, get my work done for the Pokemon Challenge stuff, and then see how my neck is doing. Because some days I'm having nerve issues with my neck, and it's not so easy to just, you know, hop on and do a stream. Today I was wanting to stream, but I've been having some nerve issues with my neck off and on today, and I decided, let's get the voiceover done. Let's get the edit done today so that I can put this out early for the people with the early viewing and everything. And then, you know, if I'm good enough to stream tomorrow, awesome. So let's hope that I am. Thank you everybody so much for watching, and until next time, have a nice day.